Hi everyone, it's Candace Craw-Goldman from quantumhealers.com. If expanding consciousness, exploring past lives, connecting with the higher self, and finding new ways to help others heal lights you up, you're in the right place. Go ahead and subscribe if it feels aligned. It helps other heart-centered explorers like you find this content. And it lets YouTube know that you're interested in this service to others guru-free community. Today we continue our Beyond Quantum Healing Freedom series with the second principle, one that completely changed how the world experiences quantum healing. Freedom principle number 2. You will be free to operate remotely via telephone or computer if that's what's in the best interest of your clients. Now, if you're new to BQH, that may not sound revolutionary, but it absolutely was just a few short years ago. Back then, many in the hypnosis and healing world believed it was somehow unsafe to lead a session remotely. They thought that the practitioner had to be in the same room, watching the client's every breath, and that not being there physically and not physically present could somehow be risky. Well, that was the old way of thinking. To be fair, it absolutely came from concern for the well-being of the client, which is a concept I wholeheartedly ascribe to. But this idea came from an era before remote technology was stable or so widely available via smartphones and with Zoom and Wi-Fi, and before Zoom was a household word. But the truth is, consciousness has never been limited by physicality, not for any part of the quantum healing process. So let's talk about safety and connection within the quantum field, because that's important. Can there be disconnections? Well, of course. Technology isn't perfect. Most of us doing remote work have had that experience. But this is a little surprising, and here's what we've learned after thousands of BQH practitioners have conducted multiple thousands of online sessions across the globe. When you prepare well, when you create clear pre-talk agreements, and when you invite the client's higher self, or like Dolores called it, the subconscious, to take part in guiding the whole experience, even a temporary disconnection becomes part of the healing itself. It's true. If the SC is in charge of the session, you better believe that the SC is in charge of disconnections too. During every BQH induction, we remind a client that should a disconnection arise, we focus not upon frustration or fear or irritation. We say, be curious. Clients are instructed to remain within that peaceful, focused state and to allow their higher self to continue offering insights and be curious as to why there was an interruption until the connection resumes. And you know what? The higher self tech support team just never fails. Disconnections are still, for the most part, pretty rare. But when they happen, they're often downright magical and even integral to the session experience. Over the years, I've collected story after story of how a dropped call or frozen screen ended up amplifying, it's true, amplifying the power of the session. In my own practice, I've had maybe a handful of true deep into the session disconnections. And in every single one, it became clear later that the timing was perfect, even divinely orchestrated and necessary for some reason. And that reason can be such a surprise. One of my favorite stories is one about a remarkable session with a client in California. That disconnection was the longest disconnection I had ever experienced. It was just over half an hour. And what happened in those minutes was so synchronistic, so meaningful, that it still gives me chills. I actually have a recording of the client after reconnecting, and she was absolutely beaming as she described the profound healing, revelations, and expansions that happened during that time of disconnection. Now, she never once felt my energy or my presence leave her, and only remained curious as to my silence until she finally realized that her laptop had fully drained its battery. Somehow it was not plugged in, and I was not on the screen. The takeaway from all of this? Well, your SC, your wisdom team, that divine connection knows what it's doing. Our human technology might falter. Yep, it's true. But the greater technology of consciousness just doesn't. Now let's focus on another aspect of a telephone or online session. It's something less obvious, but equally important. Performance anxiety. When a client travels to an office, maybe even flies to another city, books a hotel, rents a car, takes days off of work, leaving their family, they sometimes arrive carrying enormous pressure. They may be thinking, this is my one and only chance to heal. Now that kind of energy can actually make it harder to relax and surrender. It can build expectations so high that the conscious mind tries to take control. But remote sessions dissolve a lot of that pressure. When someone connects from the comfort of their own home, their favorite blanket, their pet curled up nearby, and zero travel stress, their body relaxes faster. Their mind feels safer. And if something unexpected happens, illness for the client or practitioner, weather delays, a child needing care, online sessions are far easier to reschedule. Flexibility itself becomes part of the healing environment. There's less pressure on both of you. We humans live online now, like it or not. The world is different than it was just a short time ago. We shop online, study online, even fall in love online. We sometimes hold traditional medical appointments online these days. And for many, these virtual appointments have become normal, effective, and convenient. Humanity adapted almost overnight to a connected lifestyle that simply didn't exist a decade or two ago. Okay, now let's put all of this into context in terms of my beloved teacher. Dolores Cannon was born in the 1930s, 1931 to be exact. She wasn't exactly even an email enthusiast, let alone a webcam regular. The concept of doing past life regressions through a computer screen just wasn't something she was very comfortable doing herself, let alone recommending or encouraging. And yet, I truly believe that she can see even now how the SC shows up for online session work just like it did for in-person appointments. Consciousness just effortlessly bridges these tools. Many BQH practitioners, some also have trained in QHHT, have reported connections with her presence during deep healing, sometimes assisting or even advising during these remote sessions. It is my true belief that we have her beyond the veil support. Okay. Another vital reason for this freedom is accessibility. Not everyone can travel. Some clients are bedbound. Some are in hospitals or caring for loved ones or living in remote areas. Some have mobility challenges or financial limitations that make travel unrealistic or downright impossible. Should those people be excluded from deep healing experiences in the quantum realm simply because of distance or money? I don't think so. Remote sessions open doors, literally open doors, for countless people who otherwise never would have access to this kind of consciousness work. And in times of collective limitation, like lockdowns or emergencies, or even a struggling economy, this freedom becomes more than convenient. It becomes essential for both clients and practitioners. And now I want to touch on something that might surprise you. This was a surprise to me. It was a big surprise to me, actually. But it's true. I maintain that remote sessions are actually safer, yes, safer than those conducted in person. After all these years, watching thousands of BQH practitioners work across the planet, I can confidently say something that takes a lot of people aback. Remote sessions are actually safer than in-person sessions. I didn't know that was coming, but it did. Here's why. When someone finishes a powerful in-person session, they're often in a deep, altered, reflective state. We always remind them not to drive immediately, but many do anyway. The excitement, the processing, the flood of emotion, it can be a lot, even with careful grounding techniques post-session, which we always do. But when a client's at home, that risk disappears. The client can slowly awaken, drink water, journal, curl up, drift into a restorative nap, or go to sleep all night long, all in their own safe environment. No commute, no traffic, no sudden re-entry into the noisy world. So not only is that safer, it's actually gentler on integration. The quantum field doesn't limit itself online. So let's restate the freedom principle. You, as a BQH practitioner, will be free to operate remotely via telephone or computer if that's what's in the best interest of your clients. Freedom means options. It means connection without boundaries. It means trusting that the field, the higher self, and your own intuition will handle the logistics far better than, well, any internet provider can. Remote BQH sessions are not a compromise. They're a continuation of what consciousness already knows, that energy transcends space and time, and that love, intention, and presence travel farther than any signal. So the next time someone says, but how can that possibly work online? You can smile and say, because consciousness was never offline to begin with. It's always been there. All right, thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of a world that's learning new ways to connect, heal, and serve. And if you'd like to learn how to facilitate these life-changing experiences yourself, come visit us at quantumhealers.com, service to others guru-free community of all kinds of healing practitioners. We're all exploring the vast field of consciousness together. Okay? Until next time.